How unexpected of you to be here, and by unexpected, I mean totally expected. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we're here with Season 5, Episode 5 of Phineas and Ferb. And this is, just getting this right out of the way, gonna be the final episode we're reacting to for now. We're gonna be taking a break, not because of needing to or anything, but because we're cutting down the schedule a little bit. And this is really the only show I could see myself cutting down on to help with this at the moment. But we will be back with this. We will be bringing this back as soon as we're able. Don't worry, it will be coming back. We're not dropping it. We're just putting it on hold. So that being said, yeah, this season, like I've said in the past, has been doing pretty well so far. It keeps up the same energy. And while there are definitely references and shout outs to things that happened in the past, I think most people who watch this could get into it without knowing any of that. And that's always been the strength of Phineas and Ferb. I believe I've also mentioned this in a previous episode, but that's why they went back to the old formula. Why they had to switch things back to Candace trying to bust her brothers again, Doofenshmirtz becoming evil, quote unquote, again, and all of that because they had to reinstate the formula in order for it to continue to work. One of the strengths of the series is that you can come in at any time and not be lost. There is a certain level of continuity, and yeah, it'll make more sense and be better if you watch it, like, have seen everything before, but you don't need to. It's not a prerequisite to watching the series, or watching especially Season 5. And the fact that it is that episodic allows it to be more far-reaching in terms of a viewer base. That's why episodic shows existed for so long, why they were such a big deal in animation in the old days, in like the 90s and 2000s. I know, the old days. Weird to think about, but like, yeah, 20 plus years ago. Yeah, the old days. But it's like that stuff was always a lot bigger back then. Nowadays, we have veered more towards, in most cases, serialized shows that have an ongoing plot, ongoing narrative that continues throughout. Like, you even look at something like Adventure Time, which was kind of like the big bridging gap moment. Like, 2010 was like the gap between those two time periods, really. Even with like stuff like the newer stuff, because Distant Lands, Fiona and Cake, aren't those serialized? I believe those shows are a serialized ongoing narrative rather than episodic like most of Adventure Time proper is. And mind you, Adventure Time does have some ongoing narratives. It does have some ongoing plot lines, but for the most part, it is episodic. And a good portion of it as well can be just random stuff, it seems, until it comes back later. Sorry if you hear like a weird buzzing in the background. Gonna try to ignore that. But yeah, I'm very curious to see where this continues to go, and hopefully it just continues to be fun. Like, that's kind of the hope. I did find out, apparently, I don't think I mentioned this last time. I mentioned some other stuff, but apparently this is like going to be like 12 or something, 12 or 13 episodes or something per season, I think it said. Or no, maybe it was 20. I think it was like 24 or 26 episodes per season, and they have an order for currently 2 more seasons, Season 5 and Season 6. And I think it's like half of, I think it was like 48 episodes total, so it would be like 24 per season. which means I think we're halfway through currently in terms of what's actually fully released. I think 12 episodes are currently released of this season, and I think that they're like having a break in between releasing the next episodes. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes, but we are still taking a break on here on the channel for now. After this episode, just because we're cutting things down. But like I said, we will be back to it. So in the meantime, let's get to episode 5 and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So we had 2 episodes, or well, 2 segments here, that were pretty interesting and definitely a little different than normal. We have a Chip to the Vet, which definitely kind of took the classic formula and did a little bit of a new take on it, with them doing their, and I'm sure this has been done in previous episodes from the previous seasons, but I just don't remember specifically. Clearly, I don't remember quite a bit from the classics. But instead of doing like the invention and stuff in their backyard, coming up with it to just pass the time, they make this at the vet's office and do it to help all of the animals and people waiting for their turn to be called, basically. It's definitely more of a it's more of a altruistic, I guess you could say, reason for doing this. Meanwhile, Candace is, hanging out with Jeremy and buying a bunch of food she doesn't need at the Slushy Dog. Doofenshmirtz accidentally infiltrates the vet to try and see what Perry's doing and maybe catch him or whatever, but ends up accidentally being mistaken for a veterinarian coming in and has to try to chip Perry because it can help him track him. So it's like you have 3 main plot lines going on, which is pretty normal, I feel. The stuff with the vet is very little focused on. There's not a lot to that. It just basically is for the song of the segment, showing them, doing their thing with the animals, helping them out and all. And then you have the Doof stuff, which is just Doof chasing Perry and being chased by Perry through the vet's office. It's nothing special. It's nothing interesting. And of course, Candace flirting with Jeremy, despite there being a sign in the restaurant saying not to. And again, buying all the food to try and be around him more. It's interesting, but yeah. Also, I tried to look up Jeremy's new VA. Apparently, it's not been publicly announced, and the credits have not said anything about it. So, yeah, I guess we just don't know. Which is interesting. I wonder if they're keeping him secret for a reason? Or if it's just some other reason. I don't know. You know what I mean. Is like there were like a big important reason, because I know there's sometimes where they'll keep VA's secret to protect their privacy and all. There's some voice actors who wish to remain anonymous in that regard, and some companies and stuff have done it for like specifically child actors. I know, to not like get them to integrate it into things to protect their privacy because they're kids and all. But I don't know like what the deal with it is here. Just haven't heard anything, haven't seen anything, and excuse me, could not find out anything when looking it up. So I don't know. Um, but our second of these two episodes was oh god, what was the name of it? Hold on. More than an intern. Um, this one was one of the more interesting segments because it didn't focus on Phineas and Ferb. It didn't really focus on Perry. It didn't focus on like any of our main characters, not even Candace. This episode was focused, or this segment was focused entirely on Carl. And I don't know, I don't remember if there was ever a segment focusing on Carl in the previous seasons, but that's really interesting. They bring up the idea that he's an unpaid intern and he works all these extra jobs, from being a maitre d' at a restaurant to being a clown, just all this different stuff, pizza delivery, as a way to make money because he's unpaid. And it brings up the idea of him like wanting better, and Major Monogram not being great about that. He's not a good boss, let's be honest. Um, and Carl just unfortunately accepting mediocrity, basically. He's just letting himself pretty much be treated this way. Even though he tries to do something about it in this episode, in this segment, he doesn't. In the end, it's like Major Monogram's just like, here, I'll pay you for this pizza. And he just accepts it. He's like, oh, this is a new start to a new stage of my job, of my career. And it's like, no, it's not. It's absolutely not. And this is very much another example of them like trying not to change the status quo. Because like realistically and, happily he would have gotten something there. He would have been upgraded to a paid intern. But the problem is like you got to keep the status quo for a show like this, like I've said. And I don't know how that would really change it that much though. I don't think that would really make that big of a difference. It just feels like it was going in a direction of actual development and then just kind of redacted it. And it's like, don't get me wrong. I made a statement myself, proclaiming why I believe that them keeping the status quo the same helps this show. But again, this change wouldn't have hurt that. It wouldn't have changed much of anything with the show. And it would have only served to, build upon these characters. I feel like it was just kind of a waste of time almost to give that entire scene with him complaining and discussing it. And I feel like that was the joke. Like he has this entire serious scene about like being taken seriously as a worker and needing to like, make money in order to pay rent and stuff. But at the same time, it's just like it didn't amount to anything. So what's the point? It's like it makes me feel bad for him, and honestly makes me kind of dislike Major Monogram a little bit. Seeing this kind of thing. And I don't know if there's going to be any continuity in regards to that where it does get resolved, but it's one of those cases where it's just it wouldn't harm anything to change that. Just do it. So yeah, I did enjoy these episodes despite all this. I love the Anton ego call out. That was fun. Um, they were very entertaining episodes, but there are some issues there that I just can't really ignore. Some issues that do bother me a bit, and it's just gonna happen. It's normal for that to go down. So yeah. Um, Tell me, I guess, in the comments below what you thought of these episodes. And once again, we are going to be taking a break here because, not because we need to or anything, but because this is the point where we're cutting down on our shows for our reaction schedule, and it's really the only one I felt comfortable doing so with in terms of that. Because we needed one more, because we were already cutting down on a couple others, and it's like I needed one more to cut down, and this was the one I felt like was the easiest to do so with. So yeah. But in the meantime, thank you all so much as always for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.